All right, let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna put my mic right here. All right, welcome back to another night of Brand New. I'm your coach, Anila Fulton, marketing, branding, and owner of the Soft Life CEO, helping service-based businesses build their businesses from the ground up. Tonight, we are going to be going over offers and sales. But first, if this is your first time here, welcome in. It's so nice to meet you guys. If you're coming back from last week or from previous nights, then welcome back. I hope you came to take notes and to learn a little bit about how to grow your service-based business, okay? So tonight, we're covering offers and sales, as I mentioned before. Our weekly schedule goes as such. Monday nights, and this week we shifted back a little bit because we had our community call Monday. But Monday nights, we cover foundations. Tuesdays, we cover content. Wednesdays, we cover offers and sales. Thursdays, we cover marketing and branding. And Friday, we usually do a Q&A. There will be no Q&A this Friday, okay? So welcome in. Let's go ahead and dive in. I always like to start by recapping what we covered in previous nights. So let me pull up our notes from Monday night, and then I'll pull up our notes from, Tuesday night, and then tomorrow night. You get it. Yes, last night. Okay, so this week, during our foundational period this week, we covered, hold on, give me 1 second. Monday. So this week during our foundational period, we talked about our target audience, and we talked about why that is so important for our brand and how it really creates the layout for everything that we do as far as our content, our ads, our structure, and our offer, literally everything. We touched on a lot of things on Monday. Tuesday, we went more into what to post when you don't know what to say. And we just talked a lot about our content pillars, and what not to post, just having the different categories on your page, because we're stepping into a conversation that's already happening when we're stepping into the social media world. So we want to know what our target audience or our ideal client already responds to, okay? So tonight we are going to be covering marketing and, it's Thursday, but we're not covering that today. Today we're covering offers and sales. And what that's going to kind of look like, we're going to talk a lot about interest and intent, and we'll talk a little bit about what that means. But first, if we're a service provider and you're in the room tonight, go ahead and say hello in the chat. Hello, welcome back, welcome back. If you're over on YouTube, hello, how are you? Okay, so let's go ahead and dive right in. Monday, we talked about, we defined who you're speaking to. Tuesday, we went ahead and we defined what we're going to say on our social media, and how we're going to categorize it. Today, we're going to define what you're actually selling. What are you offering people? What value do you bring to the table? And if your ideal client isn't clear, then this will be a little bit harder to do. And if your content doesn't position you as an expert and it doesn't connect with your client, then this is also going to be a little bit harder to sell. Also, don't forget that we are covering everything that is covered in our service-based business survival guide. If you don't have it, you can send me the word ebook and I'll send it to you. It's only $10. So yeah, but let's go ahead and get back into it. So right now we're going to talk about why people like you don't buy from you, right? And people don't buy services because they like you. They buy it because they understand the result that you're going to provide for them. People are selfish. They want to know, what can you do for me? They don't care about who else you have service. You can service all of the celebrities in the world, but it doesn't matter. Why does that matter to me, right? What can you do for me? So people hesitate when they're confused about your offer, if there's too much risk involved, or if there's an unclear outcome, okay? So let's get into confusion first, and we'll talk about what that looks like in the real world. And when people are confused, they're usually asking questions like, what exactly am I going to get from this? Or, maybe your offer doesn't make sense to them, and they're like, well, how does that provide value to me? Okay? So if you're a hairstylist, let's give that example first. What if you say something like, I offer luxury hair services, custom color experiences, and premium care packages? That sounds good, but what does that mean for your ideal client? Because that really speaks to everybody, like we talked about on Monday. What does that mean for your ideal client? But if you reframe it, and we'll talk a lot about reframing, but if you reframe that and you say, I help busy professionals, your ideal client, maintain healthy hair, low maintenance color, so they don't need to visit the salon every 4 weeks. That's a little bit better of a statement. That's a better offer to give them, because not only does it speak to the ideal client, but it also hits a pain point and it's measurable. You told them every 4 weeks, Now you know who it's for, what problem it solves, and why it matters. And I keep saying those things, and I'm going to keep saying those things. If someone doesn't know who it's for, what problem it solves, and why it matters, then it's probably not a good offer. Okay. Another example could be personal training. If you're a personal trainer, and I know we have one here tonight, and you say, I offer customized fitness coaching, or I offer weight loss coaching, what does that mean for me? Who are you giving it to? Are you giving it to children? Like, who is it for? Now, if you say something like, I help women over 30 lose 15 to 20 pounds without extreme dieting in the next 90 days, that's a little bit better. That's measurable. Now it sounds like something that I can kind of relate to. And now I want to hear more about your offer. What does that look like? Does that look like an 8-week program? Does that look like what does that look like? Okay. So if someone has had to ask you follow-up questions to understand what you offer, then it's probably not clear enough for them. And tying it back to Monday, like, did you define who you're speaking to clearly in that offer? And then tying it back to, well, not Monday, I'm sorry. I got my days mixed up because we pushed back this week. But tying it back to Tuesday, did you define your who clearly? Do they know who you're speaking to? And then tying it back to Wednesday, which was yesterday, my days are all mixed up. Did your content explain that problem clearly? It's one thing for you to know your ideal client and for you to know your problem, but can you clearly communicate that to another person? That's going to be the big difference between if you sell them or not. Okay, now let's go into risk, right? Okay, let me see how to say this without, I'm going to say it, then I'm going to explain it. If your service is intangible, it's going to feel risky, right? If they can't, what's the word I'm looking for? Okay, so if your process is unclear, if your timeline is unclear, or if the outcome is unclear, it feels like a risk. Does that make sense? An example could be, let's say that you offer credit repair services, right? You're a credit repair specialist, and you tell them, I help you fix your credit. Cool. I'm turned off because that's too vague. But if you say something like, I've helped clients increase their credit score by 50 to 100 points in 90 days by disputed inaccuracies or reoccurring utilization, that sounds a little bit more tangible. That sounds like something that I can achieve, because that might be something that your ideal client could relate to. Okay. So you want some structure when it comes to your offer. Let me ask this. Tamara, are you still in here? If you are, say something in the chat, and then I'll circle back around to what I was about to ask. Okay, and another example could be estheticians. If you're an esthetician and you say, I offer customized facials, that's too vague still. And as you can see, a lot of the stuff that we talk about is going to tie back together. It's going to all tie back together because, like I said, when your brand is clear, your target audience is clear, when everything is clear, it'll all start to make sense and it'll all work together. So it would only make sense that some of our information is going to tie into each other. So instead of saying, I offer customized facials, you could say, I help acne-prone clients fix their skin within 12 weeks to using an at-home treatment plan. Now that sounds tangible. That sounds like something that anybody can do because it's at home. It only takes 12 weeks, and you help clients with acne-prone skin. If that sounds like your ideal client and that's speaking to them, then that might be something they're interested in. They're going to ask more questions or they're ready to buy. One of the two, right? And then lastly, we'll get into our unclear outcome. And this is going to be the most important one. And this is the most common one you're going to see. People like to sell features. They like to sell, features. That's the word I want to use. They like to sell features instead of results, right? If you're selling features instead of results, then your outcome isn't clear. Okay? So let's talk about, and I want to write this up here. Your features versus your outcomes. Okay, let's talk about that. Features versus outcomes. Let's say you're on a sales call, right? And I tell you all these things. I say, hey, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get 6 weeks of coaching calls. You're going to get weekly check-ins through text message. You're going to get a private portal with all of my workouts and everything in it. What does that sound like to you? That doesn't matter, right? You don't care about any of that stuff. It really sounds like a lot of extra work. I got to get on the phone with you every week. I got to do this. I got to do that. And for what? But if you say something that is more outcome based, instead of telling them what they're going to get, you say you're going to walk away with a complete booking system and a clear brand that actually attracts clients every single day. That's more outcome based. And it sounds like that's something that I would be more interested in, right? I'm not going to lie. I forgot what I was going to ask you. Okay. If I remember, I'm going to come back to it though. Okay. So some more examples of this would be, okay, what if your last check and you tell your client, okay, you're going to get a full set with this package. You're going to get a full set, a hybrid set, and a volume set. That's all going to come in this membership package, right? Once a month, you can come in for any of those 3 sets. Cool. That's just telling them what you offer. That's just telling them your service, the features that come with the service, maybe even. But if you say, I help working moms wake up ready without spending an extra 30 minutes on their makeup, then that sounds like more of an achievable thing that somebody could actually take part in, right? Or if you're a social media manager and we're on a sales call and you tell me that I'm going to get content creation, posting, analytics, all these things, but you haven't got to the point of the goals. What am I getting? So if you reframe it and you say, I'll help you stay visible consistently so you don't disappear online and bring in new clients every single month. That sounds a little bit more like it, right? And you want to remember that for when you're on sales calls with people. You don't want to beat around the bush. You don't want to give them a bunch of stuff they don't care about. Yes, I want you to offer value to them. You can give that to them on the back end. But on the call, you want to get straight to the point. You want to close with logic. Okay? So, let me see. Okay. And then I also, let me see where we are. Oh, I have no idea. Okay, that's okay. So I want to circle back to what I talked about earlier. I know I started with the fact that we're going to talk a little bit about interest versus intent, right? Now, if someone is interested in your content, and you'll probably see this a lot from like people that you already know, friends, family, people that you talk to on a daily basis or on a regular, let's say that. They might say, hey, I seen your content. Oh, I love your content. Oh, I like, I might, repost your content, all the things, right? Or, hey, I like what you're doing. That just means they're interested. But they haven't crossed over the line to be intentional about, moving forward, moving the needle to become a part of that program that you're offering, or a part of that offer that you have, or a part of that service that you provide, right? Intent looks like, hey, I saw your post. How do I start? It gets straight to the point, right? Or, hey, I saw you offer this service. When can I book? Right? So we want people to be more intentional about our offers. About what we offer. And that comes with first having a clear offer and being able to communicate that through your content to your target audience. You see how I connected today, yesterday, and the day before? I'm going to say that one more time. You want people to be intentional about booking with you. And that starts with being able to communicate your offer through your content to your target audience. Okay? So people move when they see themselves. That's why we got to have that target audience in mind. And we got to have that ideal client in mind when we're making our content, because we want to speak directly to them. So when they see themselves, when they understand the result, and when they feel safe. See, 3 things why people why people hesitate to purchase: confusion, risk, unclear outcome. If they see themselves, they understand the result, and they feel safe, we've taken all these 3 hesitations away. Now we're ready to close a sale, right? And I don't know when, but one of these weeks we'll get into writing out our sales call script and what that looks like. And I'll kind of give examples of each industry and what that looks like too, because that's also a big part of it. And eventually, after you do so many of them, it'll almost become natural to sell. But in the beginning, you might need a script or even just an outline to kind of go off of. And of course, your customer is going to, or your lead is going to, because they're not a customer yet, but they're going to kind of guide the call. Because when you are on a sales call, you want to let your client do most of the talking. You're just there to close them, but also you should be there to help them close the gap between where they are and where they want to be. And honestly, they'll close themselves. Now it's up to you after that point to fulfill everything that they talked about, to help them overcome those objections, to help them overcome those pain points that we built the other day on our ideal client worksheet. That's where this comes back in at. You know the pain points, you know the objections. Now, what can we offer them, or what can we do on that sales call to eliminate those objections and those pain points before they even come to surface, right? But on a sales call, your job is to close the gap between where they are and where they want to be, and to help them get there, right? You just have to let them know you'd be doing them a disservice to let them get off this call without purchasing your service, right? But I don't want to give y'all too much in one day. So hello. Okay. So simple things we can do to fix our offer. We want to give them something that they can actually use, right? So do I have room on my board? Kind of, just a little bit. I'm going to write this out. And I feel like we wrote this yesterday, but I'm going to write it again. I help who get result. What else did I write down? Oh yeah, without. Also, if y'all hear me chewing this gum, I'm sorry. Okay. So you want to give them something they can actually use. So I help, and can we see this on all platforms? Yeah, we can. Okay. I help who? Who are you helping? That goes back to Mondays, Tuesdays this week. Target audience. Get result. What result are we leading with? Without common pain point, and you're going to have your offer. So this is going to be your offer statement. So you could say, I help hairstylists fill their books without posting daily. That's the offer. Or I help new coaches land their first 3 clients without ads. That's your offer. Or I help beginners in the gym, that's your who, build strength without feeling intimidated. That's your offer, right? So I want you to take a second and think about what your offer is. Okay? Think about what your offer is, and then I want you to use this formula to write it down. And let me see. Okay, yeah. Y'all can't see it. Okay, yeah. I want you to use that and write it down. Okay. So, now, do I have anything else to cover tonight? Let me see. I think that's all I have to teach tonight. But I do want you to know that if people are hesitating, it's probably not because they don't want your product or service, because 9 times out of 10, people want what you are selling. They want the service you are providing, but they don't fully understand it. So they're not going to take that risk because they are confused. Okay? So tomorrow, we're going to be going over marketing and branding, how to market and brand our offer in the most simplest terms. Like I said, every week, we're going to build onto each other. Yeah, that's all I have for tonight. So yeah, every single week we're going to build. If you have questions, you can send me a DM, or you can email me at brandU@anilafulton.com. So BRANDU at my Instagram name.com. That's it. If you want the ebook, you can grab it. It's $10. Send me the word ebook and I'll send you the link. And then anything else, if you want to join our community, send me the word community. I'll send you the link to join. Anything else? I think that is all. Tomorrow we're going to talk about branding and branding and people's perception about you. Well, the perception that people have about you before they even book with you. So, yeah, that's all I got. So I will see y'all tomorrow night. Hi, Miss Tammy. Okay. All right. Have a great night, y'all.